Hello from Tennessee. So I am back outside. Beautiful day here in Tennessee today. The topic I have for y'all today is flipping a necessary evil or a distraction? Be right back. Okay, first off, I'm wearing the Oris Aquis Caliber 400. Love this watch. Ironically, it's a product of flipping. Sold 13 watches and decided to go a little bit more upmarket with the Caliber 400. But to kind of start down this road of flipping being a distraction or a necessary evil, I wanted to put some context on my collection journey. And also, I think I'm going to try to answer it sort of. I kind of have an answer. It could it could change as I kind of ramble on here a little bit. But I think for me, I need to put into context myself as a collector. And I started collecting back in February of 2019. Prior to that, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, definitely heavily influenced by those videos, but I wanted a hobby. I started a hobby, and as we come up on, goodness, 3 years kind of in the hobby, I think that I've enjoyed my time. I have given it lots of thought, and I am, happy I found it. But as a result of that, I flipped a lot of watches fairly recently. So, with that being said, I think there's kind of three statements that I kind of want to talk about very briefly. And the first one is, and I'm pulling this from a podcast that Clayton did with Random Rob a little while back, where Rob just says, selling sucks. And it does. It was, I guess it was stressful, right? I sold a bunch of stuff. I went to the post office. I tracked the stuff, communicated with the buyers, and it's not a fun process. It was fairly time consumptive. And granted, it was a little bit extreme in terms of the number in the short period of time I did it, but it's definitely not a fun thing to do. The other two things that I think kind of echoed through my head, so to speak, or I have given thought to, especially over the last few days, are this statement of just selling everything and starting over. It is definitely something I think if you're in this hobby for any length of time, it is something that perhaps resonates with you a little bit, only because I've talked about this before. You have limited funds, and how do you proceed forward in the hobby? And so selling stuff and starting over. The other sentiment that I've really been thinking about over the last couple of days, that was sparked by Pete at Not So Obvious Watches, his take on buying what you like. I would definitely say, as a new enthusiast, I was buying what I liked, and more more to the point, I was buying what other people liked, and because I didn't know any different. You want to you want to make the right choice when you're spending money on watches, and how do you attain that knowledge? Is it through trial and error? Possibly. So to get so this isn't like 2 hours long here. To kind of get back to this concept of distraction or necessary evil for flipping, It's kind of both, right? It's a distraction from you having, or me having, I should say. I don't want to put it all on you because I'm interested in your comments. But for me, it's been a distraction for me formulating a collection strategy, so to speak, or determining what type of collector I want to be. Now, necessary evil, sure, because unless you can go and try out watches or have the wherewithal to do that, to go to boutiques, to go to stores, however you do it, it's just not that practical. And in the where I live, there's not a ton of options. I mean, maybe I'm being a little lazy. I guess I could travel a 2 to 3 hours in a certain directions, but I don't really have the desire to do that. So this buying sight on scene does run risk, as can be pointed out by having to flip so many watches, right? So, but for me, the trial and error has been kind of important. So yes, it distracted from what type of collector I wanted to be, or actually, I don't even, that's not even the right statement. Like, did I even know what type of collector I wanted to be? And I think those are some things I'm going to talk about down the road a little bit, because I think I'm starting to define some of that for myself. So, to kind of end this a little bit abruptly, the answer to the question of whether or not it's a distraction or a necessary evil, I'm actually going to answer it with another question, which will give me another topic video. And I started to answer it a little bit, but I think I'm going to unpack that a little bit more. So again, is it a distraction or necessary evil? I kind of said it was both. But does it have to be? Does it have to be? I think that is the question that I'm going to chew on and then come back and chat and ramble about. So, as always, stay positive, make friends, enjoy the journey. Talk to y'all soon. Take care.